cybersecurity expert. He is a co-founder of $0 Security and startup from IEM itself. So you just listen with him. And thank you so much, sir. Partho, sir.
Thank you.
So I'd like Shomik Nandida to please take over the screen and go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Perfectly. Okay, so just let me know. I'll be turning on my camera. Just let me know if it's being shared.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is the video being rendered?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So thanks for the warm welcome. And so I've been entitled by the wonderful team at Perivalion to speak on the topic entrepreneurship.
We are going very late, like Indian Railways.
Yeah, of course. So so I was going through all the posters and like all the talks of different entrepreneurs, and there was a thing that struck me, and it was interaction with entrepreneurs. So I want this session to be very interactive, firstly, and also I want you to speak. I want this to be a two-way communication, and that's the only reason I did not, make a PPT, because I want a two-way communication.
So I will request all the audience, those who are able to turn on the video, you can, so that we can make it interactive. Those who are able to, they can, please.
Of course. So today I'm gonna share with you the journey of a company which started with around 3 people in a room, and it has now become one of the top 10 cybersecurity service providers in India, and it has also recently got a nomination in the Forbes list. Good afternoon, everyone. So myself, Shomik Nandi, I am the co-founder of $0 Security, partner in Cybertix Technologies LLP, and an incoming software development engineer intern at Amazon. So throughout my talk, I would speak a lot about business, a lot about technology, and I want you to feel free and interrupt me at any point of time. Just go and unmute yourself so that you can ask me any relevant questions. Okay, so starting off with, yeah.
Can you give us some tips on budding entrepreneurs like you have faced any problems and that kind of stuff?
Yes, I would just go ahead and tell all of that in a moment. So to start off with, entrepreneurship to me is basically technology. Because if we look at the world around us, if we look at the top MNCs around us, starting from Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they all are mainly into tech. They're all tech companies as we know them. But understanding the business, the supply and the demand of the market is also as essential as the tech itself. So in the first half, I'll be focusing on the business aspect of entrepreneurship, and then I'll follow that with the technical aspect of it. So entrepreneurs are created in many different ways. One of the 3 possible or common ways that entrepreneurs are created are basically, number 1, first you understand the demand of the market, analyze the demand, and supply it to the market to become a successful entrepreneur. So you go ahead in the market, see what is being trending, what do the people want, and once you understand that, analyze it, capitalize on it, and then you put forward and give your service to them, and that will make you a successful entrepreneur. The second way is basically you try to identify a major problem which is currently prevalent in the society, in the world, in India, or your small region. Like if you know the story of how Oyo started, if you know the story of Ritesh, you would know that he capitalized first on his society. There was a hotel near him where he went, he made some adjustments, he decorated the rooms and stuff, and that was his first customer, the first client, and from there on there was no looking back. So getting the first customer is always difficult, and this is one of the challenges that I would speak later on. And the third and the most innovative way of coming into entrepreneurship is, I would say, do something which was never done. If I give you an example of somebody who did like this, the first person that comes to my mind is Elon Musk. because 10 years down the line, or even 5 years down the line, nobody really thought that we can make reusable rocket boosters, right? Some rocket boosters which might navigate themselves and land upon a 10 meter by 10 meter floating target. And that's where the innovation come from. That's where the breaking point of SpaceX was. So capitalize on your stuff. Know your stuff. If you know your stuff, then you will be able to do something which was never done before. So talking about this, the business prospect and the ways of certain ways of becoming an entrepreneur, if you're passionate about your work, if you do your work, diligently, then, you would be successful. Success is bound to meet you. Now, the next important thing that comes when you think about entrepreneurship is technology, right? Because it's important, which will make your idea come to life. Now, talking about technology, being an entrepreneur, the main focus of a technology, aspect would be the change of technology. The only constant in the technology world is the change. And as an entrepreneur, adaptability to that change is really a skill, right? So matching the rate of the change and keeping up with the contemporary time, it is important. So if I give you a use case, if I give you a very valid example, let's take up a random MNC. Let's take Amazon, for example, right? So if you just go ahead and see Amazon's infrastructure, right? Amazon has, backend services. Amazon has products, legacy products. It has a consumer e-commerce platform, and everything was set up around, Amazon was at the peak of their business around 5 years ago when, by the launch of Amazon Prime Video. Now, look at how Amazon is doing its business. It has everything set up. Then if everything is set up, why do Amazon hire people again? Like, everything is being set up, right? If I just focus on the consumer, e-commerce platform, you just go ahead, deliver a product, you register a product, list it on your website, and people will buy, the consumers will buy, and you would gain the profit. So why do they hire engineers still now? And why will they hire probably engineers in the future as well? Because if I give you a little insight of how these companies work, is basically they take up new fresh minds, just graduated from colleges, and they ask them to refactor certain pieces of their product. Now, what I mean by refactor means changing according to the times. So if you have Amazon Prime Video, for example, and you want a customer, request that I want a certain feature to be added in the video, you just go ahead and add it to your product. And that's how, the different supply, demand, and the different change in technology is being, it's inevitable if you just go for an entrepreneurship journey. Now, I'm going to tell you my experiences when I was, starting off with $0 security. So changing about this particular, change in the way the services and the products are delivered, we at $0 security is also trying to bring about a change in the way services and products are developed. So we deliver services that are crowdsourced and perfected at our R&D facility. Now,
how
if you
exactly?
yeah.
I have a question. How exactly does crowdsourcing work?
Okay, that's a very relevant question. So if you just go ahead and see the word crowdsource, it's basically means that the whole system is being driven by the crowd, for the crowd. And what do I mean by that? Let's say, I'll just tell you our business, prospects and how we function as a company. So we have, certain group of people, certain representatives, or I might say certain teams representing $0 security in different colleges. So what we have is, let's say we go to XYZ college, we set up a team of around 10 to 15 diligent, intelligent, and hardworking people who are good at what they do, who knows who they are, and who can help us in the way that we want them to. Now, once we do that, we have a vast network of students, researchers, scientists, and we also have people who have industry experience of above 10 plus years industry experience. Now, once we have these, crowd, and we go ahead and take up a project from a client, we understand the requirements, and we directly shift the whole project to one of the crowd facilities that we have. So let's say I ship my project XYZ to the group of students from colleges A, B, and C, and they, with the help of open source softwares, they try to do the whole work and they give it to us, and we at our R&D facility perfect the work, make it according to what the client needs, make it according to its client requirement, and then we go ahead and deliver the product. So this whole idea of crowdsourcing is India's first company. $0 Security is India's first company who incorporated the idea of crowdsourcing, and that is exactly what led us to be one of the top 10 cybersecurity service providers in India. So one thing that I would say when you just go ahead and talk about entrepreneurship is focus on your ideals, right? Like surround yourself with people who believe in you, who supports you. Because see, on a very honest scale, if I tell you, entrepreneurship involves certain risk. There are certain risk factors that you need to know, that you need to agree to in order to take up entrepreneurship. Now, these are the times when you fail. When you fail and when you just fail and you have a very low spirit, then that good company that you are in, it will help you to regain your spirit. And I just remembered the question. Yeah.
Can you tell me some of your hardships and struggles you personally
exactly.
faced
I was just gonna come to the question. So coming up to these questions, I would just start off with how we started and like what are some of the hardships that I faced. I believe that speaking about the hardship, it would be amazing if I share you my personal journey. So as I told you, we started with a discussion, a very random idea, and the co-founder, my co-founder, Mr. Sohang Sengupta, he had this idea of starting an amazing service and product-based company out of crowdfunding and crowdsourcing, which helps to deliver products with open source softwares, right? So the idea was pretty noble because crowdfunding and crowdsourcing companies were, I don't know where there were any present companies back then, but there were not, as far as I recall. Now, when we started, the first factor that hit me is the psychological faith, and not many people speak about that. And I want to tell you the aspect of how psychological faith can affect how successful entrepreneur or how much time that you're gonna invest in your venture. So the first thing that understand this thing, the first very basic thing, that you are going to invest your work, your time, and your efforts in something which you don't even know will work out or not. And this is where the psychological faith comes in. The toughest phase of any entrepreneur is to get the things moving out from his thoughts to work. Making a cognizable presence in the world is as important as running the company itself. Now, having said that, the second thing that which every entrepreneur would agree and would consider tough is getting their first work, the first client, or the first product, or the first contract that you get is always the toughest. Like you are starting from scratch, you have built your own company, but getting that one man who believes in the potency, who believes in the competency of what you hold, is what makes a business successful, is what is the second most difficult thing that you will face if you are taking up entrepreneurship. Now, when we started ZDS, $0 Security, the third and the most important struggle that we faced was the outreach, like expanding our network and getting more work, getting the second, the third, the fourth client, and so on. And building the portfolio was a very critical and important step that we faced in our journey. So as as being one of the co-founders of India's top 10 cybersecurity service providers, I would just tell you a few things that if you just find your second client, from the second client, try to find your third, try to find your fourth. Repeat this cycle over and over again, and you will be in no time being listed in the Forbes list. And that's how the transition was from IEM IDC lab to Forbes list. And also, if I just go ahead and ask, if you are a budding entrepreneur, if you want to
I
do
have a
something,
question.
yeah, just go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell us about some tips on budding entrepreneurs like you at the beginning of your
Yeah, definitely,
journey?
definitely. Okay, so if you just ask me for some tips, I would just say, surround yourself with like-minded people is the number one priority that you might do. You being in a college, being in your work culture, being in a school, even you need to surround yourself with like-minded people. You need people who will support you. You need people who will lift you up when you are in your low spirits. And supporting, the support system that you create is very important in life. You might do work, you might build a business, but the support system has to be important. And so number one tip I would give is find people around you who think alike, who who thinks, believes in your venture, believes in your vision, and helps you support it. The second thing is, if I go in the industry out there, the second thing is very important, which is network as much as possible. So as I told you, during the struggle phase, when we were facing the expansion of $0 security in different colleges, in different states, regions, we even have established centers in different nations. As a result of this, the network was very crucial and it was very important. Networking is hell important, I tell you. When you just go ahead, go to a college, go to a university, the first thing that you should do is build a LinkedIn profile and network as much as possible. Find people who is interested in the domain that you would work in. Find people who are already successful in what they do. Follow certain people, follow their guidelines, follow their tips. Explore and network as much as you can. The third, tip that I might say, if you, taking up the entrepreneurship journey, is explore. Explore while you can, because you get around 3 to 4 years of undergraduate time when you do your undergraduate studies, and this is the time where you need to explore stuff, because this is a risk-free time. If you just go ahead, start a venture, and if you fail, then you have nothing to lose at all, because you don't have somebody to feed. You don't have a family. You don't have a wife. You don't have a children. So you don't have to, lose a lot of stuff. It's you, only you, and explore as much as you can, because the exploration would result in opportunities. If you explore much, opportunities will come to you. And another thing which a lot of people would agree is always be optimistic and always capitalize on the current scenario. Like there's a very beautiful, test, a thing that I'm gonna tell you is in the last couple of months, right, in the pandemic situation, there were companies who, felt decreasing profit. There were companies whose shares went low. There were companies who went bankrupt. But there were also companies whose sale increased to 90% more. There were companies whose sale increased to 500%. There were companies whose the profit margin, the stock price, they went up as high as 40% than the previous year. And one such company, if you consider a use case, is again Amazon. Now, if you look at Amazon, in the last couple of months, there is a hype around a particular TV show, which is Mirzapur. I think everyone here have heard about that. And I think most of the people have already completed season 1 as well. Now, if you see how Amazon capitalized on the hype of the people, on the mentality of the people, when Mirzapur was released, season 1, Amazon rendered it directly to Amazon Prime. Now, in the last couple of months, the only, way, the only revenue that Amazon had, 39.8% of that whole revenue was generated from Amazon Prime Video, which is the highest ever, because the hype around Mirzapur is true, and that's why the people who are subscribing to Amazon Prime, seeing Mirzapur and generating revenues. So Amazon has capitalized on the scenario, and that's why the revenue, the share, and the stock price has risen, even in situations like pandemic and COVID. And talking about that, another very personal aspect that I would say is invest in more than one venture, right? Like, it's very odd if you just go ahead, do one thing very religiously, but if you fail, you don't have a backup plan. So when you are in a in a mediocre state with your company and doing pretty good, be it your profit, be it your market acquisition, when you're doing stuffs like that, I would suggest highly that invest in different domains, invest in different ventures, invest in different, set up your own small company. If you just go ahead with the example of Elon Musk again, his very first company that he founded was at age 13, and it was a company which it was an e platform. I believe it was specifically regarding the payment gateway, which was later brought by PayPal, and that was the first company which he started at the age 13. And since then, when he sold that company to PayPal, he made a revenue of around $20 million. And from that $20 million, he started his second company, Tesla, then the third, SpaceX, the fourth, Neuralink. And there are a lot of companies and a lot of ventures that he is investing right now. And that's what makes Elon Musk the Elon Musk. Because if you see in the history of entrepreneurs, if you see the growth rate, if you see the rate at which a particular venture is profiting, then the most profitable venture that you would find in the recent history is Tesla, because he brought up something which was not there back in that time: electric cars, automated vehicle systems, run by an AI, run by machine learning algorithms. They were not there in the first phase, and he came out with something on which he capitalized. He analyzed the market demand, and he found out something which did not exist. And this is something that you should always do if you are taking up entrepreneurship as your journey. Invest in more than one stuff. And the sixth and most relevant thing that I would say, again, on a particular scale, is discover yourself, right? Find what's right for you. Once you have invested in a lot of stuff, and once you have gotten the feel of all the domains, you would know what is right for you. Understand your niche and put efforts on that. Work on your positive areas, right? If you're good at Android development, just go ahead and make some apps. A really cool app will get you started with your entrepreneurship journey. If you are good at web development, make an amazing portal, make something which people can use to better their lives. And this is how you capitalize on what you have, and do not put efforts on that, and have a great company starting from the scratch itself. And if a very famous quote, which is supposedly told by Einstein, is if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. And that is very much relevant. If you are good at something, but if you are directed to something else, more chances are that you won't be able to capitalize on that thing. You won't be able to do well in that thing. And so that's what I say. If you're a fish, find your water. If you are an eagle, find your sky. Because sky is the limit. There is nothing, that will grab something from you. There is nothing that can hold you back. If you just want something, go ahead and get it. Work on yourself, and I ensure the world will be yours. So that was, something that I wanted to share today. And I hope the whole thing was kind of enriching, I would say, and thanks really, Parvelian, for giving me this platform. to interact with so many enthusiastic and budding entrepreneurs. Thank you for your time. And if you have any more questions, just feel free to unmute yourself and ask me.
What is the best time for starting an entrepreneurship? Means what is the best age? Means either in
Okay.
school or in college, like that.
Amazing question. Amazing question. So let me tell you very two contrasting examples. Example number one is Elon Musk, who started his first company at the age of 13. And example number two is Colonel Sanders, who started KFC at the age of 56. So if you just go ahead and tell me what is the perfect age to start a venture, there's no definite age to start a venture, but one thing that I as I also told you in the tips section is that take risks while you can, right? If you are currently an engineering student pursuing your degree, just go ahead and do something out of the normal curriculum that you're being taught at. Do something which you love, do something which people can benefit from, because even again, if you lose, you don't lose out a lot, you just lose a certain a certain portion that you invested in, you lose a certain time that you invested in, but you do not lose everything. You always have the chance to come up again and start with start afresh. And it's a very wrong notion if I would say that the first company that you build up has to be successful. No, nothing of that sort. Talking very practically talking, if you just go ahead and start certain companies XYZ and it comes as a failure to you, there are times, of course, it will be a failure, the venture that you started. But remember the fact that there are two things: either failure, either or success. There cannot be any other thing. There can be either failure or either success. If you fail, just go ahead and give it another run. If you fail again, go ahead and give it another run. Take risks again while you can. Once you get a family, you have someone to feed, you have someone to take care of, then that's the time you won't be able to take risks. So take risks as early as you can, starting from the school days if you can. If you are doing your studies, undergraduate, postgraduate, whatever you are doing, just take risks, because if you don't take risks, opportunity will not come. Opportunity will definitely not come to you. There are big players in the market already. Why will someone go ahead and come to you to do a certain work? So if you don't think out of the ordinary, if you don't think out of the box, and if you're not willing to take risks, then you shouldn't probably be an entrepreneur.
Amazing this was. We didn't felt actually the environment that we are bored. It's amazing, and surely we will be expecting Sohang Da next time from $0.
Yes, amazing. Yeah, definitely.
So thank you for your precious time and for this wonderful session.
Thanks to you for giving me the stage to interact with so many people.
So Parivalan is actually made this year. From this year onwards, we have made this platform actually for all the young entrepreneurs to come in one platform and share their views and their experiences, which may help thousands of minds to ignite themselves.
You're doing an awesome work, I tell you.
So if you want, you just stay, remain. There is one more very good entrepreneur from Jadavpur University we are having. So I would like to call upon Shayant